welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks, everyone. We're getting set for the weekend, and here comes heat and humidity for the final weekend of June. Before we get to the forecast, though, let's start out by looking backwards at where we've been so far in the month of June. Now, today was a warmer than average day, just barely, with a high of 83 this afternoon. This comes on the heels of a couple of pretty cool June days, Tuesday and into Wednesday. Shown are the high temperatures. When you factor in both the highs and the lows, we are running just a tiny little bit above average for the month so far, 0.7 degrees warmer than average, but that should be where we bottom out. I would expect that number to rise some in the final days of June with the kind of forecast that we have for the final several days of the month. It's Thursday, so we got a fresh update from the Drought monitor, and a couple of areas still a little bit on the dry side. One is kind of new. It's southern Columbiana County. Despite the thunderstorms we had a couple of days ago on Monday in southern Columbiana County, overall it's been kind of dry from East Liverpool down through Steubenville and Wheeling, heading over towards Beaver County, PA, and closer to the Pittsburgh area as well. The other dry area, northwest PA, getting back to about I-79 in Mercer County. Neither of these spots are crazy dry. We're not slipping into a drought or anything like that. Just a little bit drier than average in the last few weeks in those two locations. It's going to be anything but dry over the next week across parts of the Midwest. Already we're seeing this pattern starting to set up with bouts of showers, some thunder from Michigan, back through Chicago, back through St. Louis, and a severe weather threat from the front range of the Rockies out into parts of the plains this evening. Closer to home, our dew points are starting to come up, but they're still in what I consider to be the comfy zone. As you probably know, I kind of think of 60 as the magic number in the summer season. Above 60, yeah, it's pretty humid. Below 60, I think most of us won't complain too much about the humidity and how it feels outside when you have dew points in the below 60 range in the summer season. But look what's happening to our west. 68 in Chicago, the dew point 70 in Dubuque, and that's what's coming our way as we head towards the weekend. In the meantime, full moon out there tonight. It was nearly full last night. It technically was full in the middle of the afternoon today, but of course we couldn't see it. It'll be 99.9% full tonight. June's full moon is called, for good reason, the strawberry moon, and technically this is a supermoon, occurring when the full moon happens as the moon is closest to Earth in its orbit, but don't expect it to look crazy big or anything like that. It is not going to be all that noticeable to the naked eye. There will be a veil of high clouds around tonight, some cirrus clouds that might make for one of those 22-degree halos. In the day, we get those around the sun sometimes. At night, if we have those thin, high clouds, you can get a halo around the moon. So that's going to be a possibility for tonight. Looking for a slight increase in cloudiness on Friday compared to today. But I do think we are dry locally west of I-71. Some chances for showers and storms Friday afternoon, Toledo, Lima, over towards Sandusky and up towards Detroit. But I think we're dry. Our chance for wet weather over the weekend actually comes at a pretty good time for most people. It'll be Saturday morning. Passing shower or storm, but I've removed chances for rain from the forecast now for Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and Sunday. Latest run of our in-house computer model here, and it tries to have something stray around Saturday afternoon, but I'm not ready to buy that. I think the zone of wet weather, unsettled weather for the rest of the weekend will be closer to Detroit and Toronto and South Bend and Fort Wayne and into Chicago as well. That front is just going to set up shop across parts of the Midwest, the northern Great Lakes, and into eastern Canada. We're going to be too far to the east. We're going to be closer to the ridge of high pressure than we will be that front. So I think we're going to be largely dry by Saturday afternoon through Sunday and through at least the first half of the day on Monday. The forecast is trending drier. It's also trending hotter. Check out Sunday. I've taken it up to 89 on Sunday, falling just short of our first 90 of the season. But certainly the heat index will be in the lower 90s when you factor in dew points at least in the mid-60s for a lot of the day on Sunday. So officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport, we have not hit 90 just yet this year. We're now a little bit behind schedule. June 22nd, a couple of days ago, is the date of our average first 90. May 26th was our first one last year, on our way to double-digit numbers last year. But some years it is later. We didn't have one at all in 2014, and in 2015 it waited until July 28th before we had a 90-degree temperature. So there is variance from year to year, but we're now past the 30-year average. All right, big Mondo Ridge setting up along the eastern seaboard as we head through the weekend. And the reason why the forecast is trending hotter, this ridge is jogging on the modeling a little bit farther to the west than it was previously. So now, instead of kind of over Bermuda, it becomes a little bit more of an east coast high, putting us closer to the center of that high and increasing our temperatures here locally. Notice, of course, the other big ridge along the west coast, just ridiculous temperature forecasts for this weekend into Monday in the northwest. I talked about this over the last couple of evenings. Places like Seattle and Portland, they don't get this hot. Maybe on record. There could be all-time records set. And they're not prepared for this, especially in places like Seattle, right along that cool Pacific Ocean. A lot of people don't have air conditioning. You know, they might get a few hot days of summer, but most of the time, you know, it's pretty comfortable. So 100, 105, even 110 is a possibility in Portland, Oregon. That could be downright dangerous for those who don't have air conditioning. The weather pattern kind of stagnant for the next several days, all the way through midweek. Ridge out here, ridge here, trough here, and that means for us, it's a warm pattern. It's not as hot as the Northwest, but it's also going to be a very wet pattern for parts of the Midwest. There will be some flooding concerns in parts of the Corn Belt and heading into parts of Illinois and northern Indiana, parts of Michigan. I think we're too far to the east to be too concerned about widespread flooding problems. Here's a look at our computer model averages for the next 7 days. Pretty good agreement here, about 1.5 inches on average, but there'll be some local variations here, no doubt, with the convective nature of scattered showers and storms next week, especially during midweek. There's going to be some pretty variable rainfall amounts, but just as a broad average, over the next 7 days, our models are kind of pointing towards about 1.5 inches. So the heat builds in for Sunday and into Monday and stays pretty steamy into midweek. How long does that last? Turns out, not super long. I see cooler things ahead for us as we head towards the 4th of July. Coming up next weekend, first weekend of July, and then the 4th is on Sunday. And that period does not look especially warm at all. In fact, it could be just a little bit cooler than average with high temperatures upper 70s to around 80. Pretty comfortable stuff for the 4th of July weekend. Too early to talk about rain and things like that, but pretty high confidence at this point that the 4th of July weekend will not be as hot as this coming weekend. It seems unlikely we would see middle and upper 80s. All right, thanks for watching tonight's weather for Weather Geeks video. If you're up late tonight, check out my updated weekend forecast, 21 News at 11, and I will see you back here for more weather for Weather Geeks on Friday.